man, it's commentary, son.
Holy shit!
I hear myself thinking.
One little action can really make a whole huge deal in the entire set.
DDD Dittos are fucking stupid.
Happy feet, combo combo.
PC survives that attack. Both players are on their feet again to hit each other. Oh my god.
Hello everybody, welcome to Directional Influence episode 49, I believe. 49. We're getting there.
We are
50th.
very close to our 50th episode. We're going to have to think of something. Something big.
We should. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for Teevee Gaming for letting us be here for almost 50 episodes. I am Rapture, your host. Along with me is my co-host Will. How you doing, man?
Pretty awesome, actually.
Pretty awesome. I'm doing pretty awesome as well. I'm tired. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. Been doing a lot of college work because I'm a college student in college. Yay. And but I'm taking time to do this podcast because we gotta do, because it would be awkward if we did the hiatus thing again, like I said last episode. Tonight on November 7th, as we're recording this, we have a multitude of guests, including Chibo, Nicole, and Nakat, and many more on the show tonight to talk about the post-Metaknight-ban metagame and how it affects their characters, the competitions, the community, etc. So we're going to get into that with them in just a bit. But before that, I'm here with Will, obviously. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be exciting, the discussions that we're about to do. I'm personally happy about it because I hate Meta Knight, the whole Meta Knight ban. So I'm looking forward to how the metagame is going to turn out. I feel like I won't benefit as much as, say, you will, or it'll hurt you or whatever, because of the fact that I lose to any character regardless what character it is. Maybe it'll give me more incentive to use Kirby, considering I won't have to deal with the Kirby Meta Knight matchup. But at the same time, without Meta Knight, then I have to fight Diddy Kong, Marth, and Ice Climbers more, which sucks for Kirby, at least as far as I'm concerned. The Marth and Ice Climbers matchup sucks. I don't know. It should be interesting. If, at the very least, it'll be memorable.
I feel like the character diversity is obviously the most entertaining aspect for me, and along with that comes the increased amount of maybe not mid-tier users, maybe not players that use mid-tier characters, but just the fact that they'll be more prevalent and more viable in tournaments. So right. They'll be used more because people won't have to turn to Meta Knight. They'll be able to use other characters to counter some matchups. But
then again, we may see the domination of others, and it comes to what do we want to see more of. I mean, I'd personally rather see the domination of a couple characters than just Meta Knight, if you want to be honest with me. But as we see, at least in our region, Vinny and DeBuzz are, taking poops on everybody's faces. So. But we'll come to see how that turns out. So everybody stay tuned. We're actually going to go into this discussion that we just talked about right now with Nakat and Jtails, and we'll be going from there with some other top players. So please stay tuned and listen to the rest of episode 49 of Directional Influence. Okay, everybody. So as I said, we have some top players here, and we're going to go through a sort of long list of players that are actually going to be on the show to talk about characters. As we said, the topic of this large discussion with many of these players that me and Will have here today is the metagames of characters, particularly in mid-tier, high-tier, and then low-tier, but obviously not down to like Jigglypuff, for example. In the post-MK-ban metagame, which will be in January 2012, right? We're sort of looking at like when it's mandatory by the URC. So we have right here Jtails and Nakat. Jtails, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good tonight. Just finished some barbecue chicken pizza from Domino's.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
That does sound good.
Chicken.
And as we heard, Nakat is also here, one of our favorite guests. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, well, that was.
I think this is actually a pretty clever pairing because both of these guys, they both do play Meta Knight, and they also both play Fox, and Jtails also plays a bunch of other characters. So I think that they would be able to tell us, like, they know the weaknesses of their own characters to Meta Knight, and they also have, they've definitely used Meta Knight in tournaments, so they they'll be able to give us both sides of it, I think.
And I
Yeah.
guess to speak to that effect and to be completely arbitrary, I'll start off with Jtails. So Jtails, I guess give us your opinion. How do you think the post-Metaknight-ban is going to like look like the metagame itself? And then I guess speak on some specific characters.
All right. Well, I feel like the top three, Diddy, Snake, Falco. It's first of all, I feel like Marth is gonna go up. Olimar is definitely gonna go way up because he doesn't have Meta Knight to stuff him, gimp him, whatever you want to call it. And I believe some of the mid tiers are gonna excel, exceptionally in the metagame, like R.O.B, for example, Kirby, Fox, Wolf, even Toon Link. I feel like many of these characters, when players don't know the matchup, they run away to Meta Knight, and because of that, those players don't need to know the matchups because Meta Knight, has that much of an overwhelming advantage over them. So it kind of, stuffs them down. Whereas, probably a Wolf or a Diddy would have to know the Wolf matchup, or, a Warrior would have to know the Kirby matchup. It's not that simple.
Right. And because you mentioned a lot of characters that are in a lot of people's minds. Do you think there are any characters that will actually be hurt a lot because of the ban, other than Meta Knight, obviously?
Well, it depends on the rule set. Like, if infinites are allowed, I feel like many characters are going to be hurt and probably not even seen at all. And DDD is definitely going to be everyone's runaway character, like, I don't know how to fight this character. Does he get chain grabbed by DDD? Okay, let me use DDD, I feel like or does he get infinited by DDD? Okay, let me run away, rather than let me run away to Meta Knight.
Okay. Nakat, you have some expertise on Fox, for example. Considering that you use Fox and not, as you said, Jigglypuff, how do you think Fox is going to be in the post-MK metagame?
I don't really think anything's gonna change that much. I do see him going up though, but I don't see it being like a dramatic boost. Basically, Fox did really well against MK, and he does like well against the rest of the cast. Well, the high tier cast. There's those few obscure characters that can just work their way into actually giving him a run for his money. But, the purpose of me picking up Meta Knight was for matchups I didn't know with Fox, or I couldn't handle, like Ice Climbers or Olimar. Like Olimar, I get raped by Olimar, basically. So, with Meta Knight, you don't need to know much, as Jtails said, in order to win with the character. So, basically, these characters can be beaten with the secondary. You can pick up anybody to beat these characters. You don't have to really worry. But Fox is a character, he has the moves, the skills to like beat high tier characters and any other character that faces him, which is proven by not only me but other Fox mains. So I do see him going up, but not that much.
And you commented on the almost easiness of Meta Knight being able, or the usage of him. Do you think there's going to be maybe there's going to be a void left, I guess, by the pocket Meta Knights, since we won't see them anymore? Do you think there's going to be maybe another trend that we'll see? Maybe people having 2 or 3 pocket characters to handle all the
probably.
matchups? Is that it?
Yeah. Or people are just gonna learn their character inside out and just try to work with it. But what I do see is a lot of Ice Climber dittos. I see them.
A lot of Ice Climbers.
I think there's gonna be a lot more Ice Climbers, and I agree with what Jtails said, where about DDD. Like, if someone doesn't know a matchup, if they know that DDD chain grabs, like, they don't have to worry about Meta Knight anymore. That was DDD's main, that concern.
Yeah.
So people can easily be like, oh, this character gets infinited. Well, they can't switch off to Meta Knight, so they're probably going to stick to their main or, some lesser secondary. So I think, DDD is definitely going to pick up too.
All right. And, Nakat brought up a good point of how Fox may not be, truly affected because of the fact that he did pretty well against Meta Knight. So having him gone just, makes it a little easier, but not too much easier because he already had that ease compared to other characters against Meta Knight. But at the same time, are there any potential characters that will rise up that could hurt Fox, or particularly another character really badly?
What do you mean, like characters that can beat Fox?
Like, are there any characters that can beat Fox that'll be maybe more notable that now that Meta Knight's banned?
Shit.
Like,
Well,
I think there are just like some matchups that you really don't see played very often.
Right.
Like I like how Jtails mentioned Diddy versus Wolf. Like, I can't say that I've ever really seen that matchup played very often. I don't want to say Wolf in general. Like, how is Wolf versus Fox?
Wolf
Like, what is
versus
that matchup
Fox,
like?
in my opinion, it's even.
Okay.
Very
I agree.
even.
I agree with that.
And to get away from Fox a little bit, maybe go back to Jtails. As we said, there will be obscure matchups. Do you think that having these obscure matchups will shake up the metagame a little more? Maybe we'll see more of an evolution of characters based on these matchups we haven't really seen?
Well, from this point on, I feel like there's going to be a rough divide between players. You know, those who kind of like mained Meta Knight and didn't really know anything else, and those who, you know, were poly, you know, character, whatever you want to call it. You know, people use more than one character, and I don't know. I feel like personally, I'm gonna capitalize on the fact that people aren't gonna know certain matchups and certain counterpick matchups. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, ADHD, you know, Ally who's main Snake, and Larry, the Buzz, the people who have main the top tier characters, excluding Meta Knight, are gonna excel way above everyone else because they've been using those characters for years and they know all the, you know, all the easy matchups, if you want to call them easy. And Meta Knight was, you know, pretty much the main thing in their way. So now everyone's going to try to pick up the A-tier characters and try to emulate these players. And, you know, there's not going to be much that people can throw at them that they haven't seen before.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think, and I do agree with what you guys are saying, but I really do think it's going to be a lot more diverse, because if you did look at the last concentrate results, how Jtails mentioned R.O.B, like there were some R.O.Bs up there. Like they usually are not that high up. And there was
Rob is a
obviously, you know,
great
like Holy.
character.
Yeah, he was so shut down by Meta Knight. It was atrocious. Like now he's not. Like that's not going to be a problem anymore. So.
Well, the
He's
Buzz
gonna-
too, actually. Alamar got kind of shut down by Meta Knight as well.
hmm
So like, the Buzz is like the happiest person in the world right now. I know.
Yeah, he is, and he's showing.
And
it
I'm
for all
happy.
his
I'm
results.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy for him too. He deserves
Yeah.
it.
All right. One final question for you guys. I'll go with Jtails since Nakat was the last one to talk technically. What do you think what is your favorite part about this MK ban in general in terms of the metagame?
Well, my favorite part is that, you know, personally, I'll be able to use more characters in tournament because I started off maining Ness, Fox, Toon Link, like those were my main core characters. And then, you know, I kind of wanted to pick up, oh, and Diddy, of course. But then I wanted to pick up Meta Knight solely for the Meta Knight Ditto. And then, you know, I kind of found that other matchups were way easier as Meta Knight. So I was like, why would I, you know, make myself work any harder than I have to? So I started learning every matchup as Meta Knight, and I kind of shifted into an MK main, Diddy secondary, you know. But I always enjoy using multiple characters in tournament, and I enjoy, you know, like all the characters in the game. And I feel like that's going to be my favorite part, that I will be able to use Ness, I will be able to use Fox, Toon Link, Kirby, you know, whoever I feel like, you know.
Yes, I want to see more Fox.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
I will definitely attest to it being enjoyable to watch you using other characters, because you don't usually get to see people play at like a higher level with like so many characters as you do. So I approve.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that was Jtails and Nakat. We'll be moving on with more opinions from top players coming up next. All right, everybody. Continuing on with the segments of having opinions from top players on the post-Metaknight metagame, we have three people here. We have Nicole, Ripple, and MJG. Yes, we actually got all of these people into the same Skype call.
This is our Midwest section of the episode.
Pretty much.
Well, technically, although Nicole is just like all over the place now. Where are you right now, Nicole?
I'm in Mass right now,
wow.
Massachusetts. But
Okay.
you know, I've been Midwest for like my whole career, so
All right,
you know,
so
1
that
month of
counts,
being
so.
up here is probably fine. for me to still be considered Midwest.
All right. Well,
Okay.
considering we have some differing opinions here, clearly, I want to get into some questions that we haven't asked. We asked some questions earlier in the segment with Nakat and Jtails about specific character things in the singles metagame, but I want to start it off. I guess, Nicole, you can go first, and then Ripple. How do you guys feel the doubles metagame is going to change with that Meta Knight?
I think it's going to be awesome. Like, I wasn't a huge supporter of the Meta-Knight-ban. However, I have always thought that he was way too dominant in doubles. Like, you couldn't even have a winning team besides, like, Razor and G-Nest, maybe. People that have teamed together for a long time who also have really good characters and really good strategy. Like, most teams cannot get top 3 without a Meta Knight on them. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, he counters so many characters in doubles, and he just stops characters like DDD or Peach from, like, being amazing in teams.
As for me,
I feel like there's
she's
delay
my
here.
only character in doubles, so.
Okay. How do you think Sheik's gonna improve in doubles, or do you think she'll be a little bit more viable? Maybe in singles, I would think.
I actually think she'll be worse in singles, but as for doubles, I think she'll be more viable, but the Sheik boards think that she sucks in doubles, but I mean, I do really well with her in doubles. Like, me and Reflex at a recent tournament got second and lost only to MJG and Zeton, so.
All right, very cool. I don't know. I feel like, what does Sheik do in doubles that makes her viable? Is it just like you can Dacus because there's 3 other people and they won't see it coming, or?
She stops basically. I mean, she just plays support. If you see your teammate get grabbed, you just throw a needle.
Okay.
And it just completely disrupts everything. And so it's really weird because she doesn't really help out that much. I mean, like, she can get some damage off, and then she can surprise Dacus, but she's just meant for, like, supporting your teammate, and so they don't get grabbed or anything.
And I heard MJG laughing in the background a little bit. I would like to hear his opinion. What do you think the doubles metagame is going to look like, and do you agree, disagree with their statements, or what do you think?
Definitely Ripple. I said what I want to say. Toon Link in doubles is mainly a support character. Like, I'm used to teaming with a Meta Knight from Kansas named Domo, and the way Toon Link works is it's like before it would get annoying for Domo for me to keep hitting him constantly. I learned how to just kind of control space and get him out of bad situations with just there, which doesn't do that much damage. In regards to Meta Knight being gone, I think Toon Link. I don't think it will change much for Toon Link because he's really just a support character. I mean, he can. Domo and I have had it, and other teammates have had it in such a way where we will just both camp and have them come to me, and they'll play off of my mistakes. Other than that, I don't really see it changing for Toon Link much. So.
I think Toon Link is by far like the best 1v2 character other than Meta Knight. So I think Toon Link's he's really gonna shine in doubles now.
Oh, definitely. So. I love doing this 2v1. Toon Link has all the tools to just weave in and out and just be safe while I mean, if you don't know how to handle that in doubles against Toon Link, then you're just gonna run freely for a while. So, but yeah, I definitely think I definitely like to see how doubles turns out with Meta Knight gone. I plan on teaming with Nicole actually at R.O.B, so we're gonna have to see how that goes. So.
Awesome.
And getting back to Nicole, I want to focus on Peach here. With Meta Knight gone, how does Peach change? And do you think people are going to start picking Peach over maybe different characters with Meta Knight gone to take matchups, or how is that situation going to work out for your character?
I mean, overall, it's definitely a good thing for Peach that he's gone. I mean, I don't have trouble with pocket Meta Knights, and I don't think any of the really good Peaches do. But Meta Knight mains are a whole different story, and if the Meta Knight knows the matchup, like, you're not going to win. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I've beaten some Meta Knights, but it's definitely not a bad thing for him to be gone. She has a couple good high-tier matchups: Pikachu, Ice Climbers, Wario. Those are all good, and especially with Ice Climbers probably becoming pretty dominant with Meta Knight gone, Peach is a really good choice for them. Not everyone agrees with me on that, but it's very easy to not get grabbed. If you understand the things that you need to do in the matchup, it's very good for her. Of course, it's not great because Peach is a limited character. Like, she definitely has tricks, but she isn't a high tier. She isn't Snake. She isn't Falco. So I think that at most you'll see people using her as a secondary. I still don't see her being able to be like a full-on main very easily at all. There are always going to be better choices than her for that because there's going to be more Snakes. There's going to be more Falcos. Those are still really hard matchups for her.
I have a question for MJG first, because I know for a fact that Toon Link does have a lot of trouble with Meta Knight. There are just like these positions you can be put in off stage that they're just like unrecoverable, and it's frustrating. And I know a lot of people have been through it. So like, do you feel like Toon Link may improve in singles? Like we said, I think he'll shine in doubles, and there'll definitely be a lot of representation of Toon Link now. How do you think he'll fare in singles now?
I actually think that Toon Link will do better. I mean, just like Nicole, I really didn't have a problem fighting Meta Knight. When it came to me fighting Meta Knight, my train of thought was basically, I can't make many mistakes, or the Meta Knight player is just going to have to outplay me. I didn't really look at it as just fighting Meta Knight. When I first started off playing against Meta Knight, being gimped was probably one of the most frustrating things, but I learned to just really take damage when trying to recover. But other than that, I'm probably going to see more Falcos and Mars, and I would definitely rather fight Meta Knight than both of those two characters, especially Mars. That's just like a personal preference. I'm really comfortable in the Meta Knight matchup. Yeah, I think Toon Link will do pretty well. He goes even with a lot of the cast. He doesn't really beat a lot of the high tiers. He probably beats Ice Climbers. And he goes even with, like I said, quite a lot of the cast. It really comes down to who's playing Toon Link, because Toon Link is pretty hard to use. You can't just really use Toon Link as a pocket character. So I think that's going to be pretty important that you mentioned that Toon Link can actually really take on Ice Climbers, because I see Ice Climbers they're really picking, I feel like they're going to be more used now, and especially we've seen this past weekend, if you guys had heard of, it was a small tournament in the East Coast called Fatality 3, and both DeBuzz and Vinny have been really, very consistently really dominant, and they've been proving that both ICs and Olimar are like a real threat without Meta Knight around. Even so, I mean, and I've seen the Toon Link and Ice Climbers matchup played out, and it just looks like Toon Link is so hard to grab. Like that matchup's crazy. But yeah, I won't touch on that much. It's just, it pretty much comes down to any other character fighting Ice Climbers. But I think what gives Toon Link the slight edge is the fact that he can separate the Ice Climbers pretty well with all of the schools, and then from there you just gotta run and hope you don't get grabbed.
All right, do we have Ripple back yet, or is he still?
Ripple keeps like jumping in and out of the call.
Is this connection that bad?
I mean, I guess.
Scared of me.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you're there.
Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna continue with the question I asked. I guess you said earlier that Sheik would actually fare worse in singles with Meta Knight gone. Why do you think that?
Well, Nicole also said earlier that Ice Climber's probably going to be more dominant, and Sheik and Zelda fare really bad against Ice Climbers, and it's basically unwinnable. And then Pikachu probably will become more dominant, and while that's...
I think we lost him again.
Oh no.
Yep. The good old dip.
Ripple is lost again.
Got 99% connection.
Oh wow, that really sucks. I actually want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, because he has some opinions on several different characters that I know he plays. Like he was talking about Pikachu, I think, when he got cut off.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
So,
continue with
there he is.
Pikachu.
Okay, where'd it cut off?
I think you were cutting off. Were you talking about Pikachu being more prominent?
Yeah. Okay. That's like, it's doable with Zelda. With
Again? Again? Ripple.
Man, need to get off that 99-cent connection.
You guys can tell him I said mean stuff about him when he comes back. And he can start to tell me something mean and then get cut off, so.
The only other thing I have in mind is that I know that Nicole and I will be teaming up for Apex, actually.
Right.
So that will be our last effort, really, to see how non-MK teams can fare. Because I know we're probably going to end up playing versus some double Meta Knight teams. And Ripple is back.
Ripple is back.
I'm back. But
oh,
is he gone again?
I think he's gone again.
Good game.
I guess in terms of how I only know a lot of my Toon Link experiences from Jash, and even then I really haven't played him much. But one of the things that it is at least of a concern to me is that there are a lot of things that at least Toon Link can do that without Meta Knight maybe he'll be able to do more of. Are there any? Is that true? Do you feel like we're gonna see maybe like new turns in his actual metagame? Like we're gonna see new styles of play or anything different from Toon Link that'll make him even like I guess a scarier force?
That's a good point, actually. In regards to Meta Knight, it's actually same case with Olimar. Toon Link has to play those matches completely different. Like, obviously, characters with speed can kind of just rush down Toon Link pretty fast, but like with Meta Knight, he has all those other options. You kind of have to just. It's kind of like a guessing game. I hate to say that. It's kind of like a guessing game when playing with Meta Knight, and you just gotta be on your game. You can't make a mistake because Meta Knight's good at capitalizing on mistakes. Toon Link, as far as his game change might go, I feel like Toon Link can win almost every matchup he has on neutral. So, I mean, that goes for a lot of characters. I just feel like it comes down to the player and how well they know how to fight Toon Link. So, and I feel like this randomly came across my mind. I don't think enough people take advantage of how difficult it is for Toon Link to get back on stage. Just I hear so many people complaining about Toon Link being on the ledge, but we don't really like to be there. It's just Toon Link has terrible ledge options. If people exploited that more, that would help. And yeah, I don't know. I think Toon Link will start to shine a little bit more, but like I said, I wasn't really for the ban, so I'm interested to see the results after Meta Knight's done. So.
All right, and
I actually have one more question that I think is pretty relevant for Nicole.
Oh, I had a question for Nicole. Wow, all right.
Well, let me ask something. God damn it.
All right.
Anyway. All right. So I know that Peach actually has some good counter pick stages. If it weren't for Meta Knight. So how do you feel? I mean, I always heard that Peach does pretty well on Brinstar. I'm not sure. So like, do you think, and Brinstar and maybe even some other stages that Meta Knight would have dominated her, like what stages do you think she'll be able to excel on now that Meta Knight won't be around?
Brinstar is definitely good for her. It depends what character you're playing against. Like certain characters with like bears that are going to wall her out, like Kirby, Wolf, etc., are going to be bad to take to Brinstar. But on the other hand, like characters like Ice Climbers, Olimar, Teevee, characters that are really like ground dependent. Falco also like will pretty much have to automatically ban Brinstar against Peach. It's really good for her. I think Delfino's another good counter pick for her that you never get to take advantage of because you don't want people to just whip out their Meta Knight on you. I like Delfino against Falco. Probably just, it kind of depends, but like Snake, Falco, Delfino's probably not a bad counter pick. I don't get to use weird counter picks too much right now, so I can't answer this question that well because Meta Knight's still definitely around. But I'm sure as the metagame progresses, I'll figure out which ones I like. Other people like weirder stages too. I'm kind of more of a Smashville person for the most part, but I do look forward to having Brinstar as a really good option for her. In doubles also, it's certain teams like Peach Marth, Peach Wario. Brinstar would be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the more exciting things that we're going to be seeing is that people won't be just dreading that whole, like, what do I ban? Brinstar or Rainbow Cruise? Because either way, they're going to take me there with Meta Knight. Like, you're not going to see that anymore. So it's going to be more exciting. People are actually going to have advantages with Brinstar. Like, I've experienced that recently. Like, DK Toon Link on Brinstar. That's it's a really good team. He's very good on that stage. So
yeah, Toon Link's broken on Brinstar. Oh my god, he's gonna be so much of the stage.
His recovery, it becomes a lot better because the last hit, it'll linger. It could linger and kill. It'll linger and he'll just survive, like, because it hits them. It makes him, I don't know, really hard to deal with. So.
All right, well, in lieu of Ripple, I'm unfortunately unable to talk for most of this. We did get some good discussion with Nicole and MJG, so we're going to be moving on to the last segment, which will be having Chibo and Teevee on the segment, so stay tuned. All right, everybody, we have our last group of people here, top players about to give their opinions on the post-Meta-Night metagame that will be existing as of January 2012. We have two R.O.B mains here because it seems like, or at least we've found out from the previous segments, that R.O.B actually should benefit greatly from Meta Knight being gone. So in celebration of that almost, we have Teevee and Chibo. Teevee, I believe this is your first time on the show. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good. Glad to have some New England rep finally. I think for the first time since Pelko's been on the show. So besides myself, who's not even New England anymore. So
yeah, I'm excited to be on here. So
it's definitely cool. And then of course we have recurring guest R.O.B, Ledge Master, and Pokemon player who calls out cheaters at NJ Halo events. Chibo, how you doing?
Great. I am glad to be back. I think it's like my third or fourth time on here.
Yeah, we've definitely missing you and all that. No homo, but slightly homo.
Glad to see the show back.
Yep. Definitely, yes. We enjoyed the show being back. Also good. So, to start off, Will actually had a, masterful question that he was just sort of telling to nobody, so I think he's going to repeat that to you. We're going to start off with Chibo. Will, go ahead.
Let's see if I can recall said masterful question. Okay. In light of the MK ban, we all know that there was a ton of MK players that they mained MK, and that's pretty much why they entered tournaments. Now, a lot of those people with MK gone, I feel that they're going to dissipate. And who knows if they'll stick around in the Brawl community. Maybe they'll move on to other characters. But how do you feel that with MK gone, do you think there might be a swell in the amount of casual level players that come into the game with the loss of the MK players? Do you think that might be a rise in more of the mid-tier characters in tournaments?
Well, I think just relating it to mid-tiers in general, even though that's what a lot of the guests on this episode so far has been about, isn't too relevant, but there's three different ways you can really look at this. There are players in a competitive community that did play Brawl back in 08, 09, and 2010 that have since quit, most likely because of Meta Knight, or most likely if they said that. Then there are new players to the community that may not be part of the competitive scene at all. And then there are also new players to Brawl that or new players to in-person tournaments, kind of like Salem, or people that maybe have been playing Melee, things like that. In terms of new players that have quit Brawl because of Meta Knight, which they're definitely out there, you hear people complaining about them, they don't like the variety in tournaments, or the lack of variety. That's definitely going to be fixed. I mean, there's nothing but good there. I mean, the direct reason why they left is being fixed. As for new players, I think that people not very familiar with the competitive scene at all, it might be a little confusing to them about banning a character because, let's face it, banning characters is very rare in fighting games, and it's the first time a character's been banned in Smash altogether. So I think they might question it, but I doubt too many will mind. There might be like one or two new players that be like, well, I play Meta Knight, why can't I play him? I'm just not even going to play this game. But I think it's a very, very rare case. And as for people switching to Brawl from other competitive games, whether it be Melee, other fighting games such as Street Fighter or Marvel, or people that have just kind of lingered on Wi-Fi and like kind of make that in-person jump. I think it's going to be incredibly welcoming to these players because, I mean, let's face it. Let's imagine if Meta Knight was allowed to concentrate too, and we all know Meta Knight versus Zero Suit isn't that great. Salem was an amazing player. He got fifth, I believe. He could have ran into like a Meta Knight round 1 or 2. That's like a good one, but not like one that at his level, so to say, because with how many there used to be in NJNY, it would have been devastating for him to go home with like 25th or something like that instead of compared to the 5th place he was able to get. And I think people will see a lot more of an opportunity without Meta Knight being around.
Okay. And now we're going to go to the specifics on characters. We have Teevee here, as we said. Teevee, in terms of your specific character, which we know who you use, how do you think that's the metagame is going to benefit, hurt? What do you think?
Well, now keep in mind, Teevee also played Meta Knight. I know he has the ZSS. He plays R.O.B. What other characters do you play, Teevee?
Well, I have R.O.B, Zero Suit, Diddy, and that's going to be about it with Meta Knight going, so...
All right, well, I guess
in tournaments.
I mean, first of all, I've seen your Zero Suit Samus. I believe I remember seeing it at Vinny's tournament.
Oh, as far as R.O.B goes with.
And I mean,
yep.
I mean, so with Zero Suit Samus, well, actually, you know what? Go ahead with R.O.B then, since you definitely know a lot about R.O.B. What do you think? How do you think R.O.B is going to change, benefit, hurt, etc.?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, I think. With Meta Knight going, there's definitely going to be a lot more deities, and that's really going to hurt R.O.B. I mean, we saw Holy against Adamus. What was that at Concentrate? I mean, he did very well, but that's very, very rare. I believe DDD is probably R.O.B.'s worst matchup, and I could see a giant influx of DDDs coming right post Meta-Knight-ban. So, I mean, I don't know. It could go good and it could go bad. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, but I can't really see R.O.B rising that much. One character I do see rising, though, is Pit. I could really see Pit becoming top tier once Meta Knight's gone.
Why do you think that?
I think Pit is probably the most underrated character in the game right now. His matchups down the line are very, very, very well. I mean, Meta Knight is really his only hard counter other than maybe Ice Climbers. I think we're going to see a lot more Pit post Meta Knight. Kool-Aid at Nationals is going to tear stuff up. I'm really excited to see how well he's going to do with Meta Knight going. And the other pits around the country too, like Christetis, I've seen his pit too very well. I could see a lot more pits coming once Meta Knight's gone.
Now, Teevee brought up an interesting point with in terms of R.O.B. Even though MK is going to be on the downfall, the influx of DDD is still the issue here because it's a bad matchup for R.O.B. and Meta Knight was like a really bad matchup in my opinion, or pretty much I think that goes across the board. People would agree with that. But yeah, so do you feel the same way about that, Chibo? Like in terms of singles with R.O.B, do you think that leveling off of Meta Knight and the greater, I guess, increased use of I feel like there's going to be more pocket deities. How do you guys feel about the pocket deities? You think that's going to be a problem or?
At first, when thinking about Meta Knight being banned, I really thought it was actually going to hurt R.O.B more than help him, or stay the same or hurt him because, I mean, let's face it, Meta Knight was Day-to-Day's biggest game stopper right there, and with more Day-to-Days out there, especially since, obviously before Meta Knight was the most noob-friendly character, where I think one of the most noob-friendly ones now is going to be Day-to-Day because of, even though he may not do the best at top-level play with like characters against Olimar, Pikachu, things like that, Ice Climbers, he's extremely easy to use and has great matchups versus mid and low tiers, which will at least get you somewhere in bracket, especially starting out with the game. And let's face it, you don't need to be a pro with Day-to-Day to beat R.O.B with him. So ideally, like thinking about it, that's going to hurt R.O.B. However, when you think about it further, what characters are going to rise? A lot of talk is around Ice Climbers. Diddy's definitely a potential riser for the new metagame. And in a metagame with Ice Climbers, Diddy, and even like Marth kind of really flourishing, that is amazing for R.O.B. Not many people can say like, hey, we potentially beat Marth, Ice Climber, and Diddy, which are three very popular characters that a lot of other players hate playing against. They hate dealing with Diddy's bananas. They hate dealing with chain grabs. They think Marth is great. R.O.B does awesome versus all three of them. So even though he does terribly versus Day-to-Day and not too good versus Snake or characters like that, it's really like a 50-50 if he's going to really boost up or if he's going to really go down. Like, it could go completely either way, but then maybe since both options are there, it can just even out. So you can stay the
true.
same. I don't know.
No,
It's impossible to predict this new metagame. It really is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
Those are some really good points, though. I didn't think of that. I forgot how well R.O.B does versus Ices.
Yep.
And I have seen R.O.B versus Diddy, and it doesn't look, just because R.O.B's so good with items, and the Glide Toss, he has all these options added.
R.O.B's so great with items, and edge guarding Diddy is like mindless with R.O.B. It's so easy to edge guard him, easier than any other character, I'd say, except for Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Except for Meta Knight. I want to take this a little regionally here because we haven't so far in the show. Teevee, you're from New England, and New England isn't the most active of all the regions out there. Do you think maybe the Meta-Knight-ban will help bring about a stronger New England community, or how do you think it'll change that?
We were actually one of the first regions to start doing Meta-Knight-ban tournaments. I know Solid Jake hosted Viva La Smash. I know Will went to it, Jash went to it, and it was actually very successful, and it drew a pretty big crowd. I hope the scene gets back when Meta Knight's gone, but as of right now, we're pretty dead. I don't know. You can only hope, really. I hope it does, because I know new players, and they go to tournaments, they go to bracket, and they lose 2-0 to Meta Knight 2 times in a row, and they go home, and that's it. But maybe with Meta Knight-ban, they can start coming back. I don't know. I really hope it brings the scene back, though.
All right, yeah, that'd be great. I wasn't
Yeah.
truly involved with New England community as much as I could have been, considering I lived there for a while. In fact, I was trying to go to that tournament, the Viva La Smash tournament. I ended up getting my ride bailed on me, but either way, that would be great to see it. And I know, the rest of us are from New York, New Jersey, and we'll definitely see some changes there, considering how strong the Meta Knight presence is in our region. Will, I want to actually ask you a question. How happy are you with the fact that New York, New Jersey will have no Meta Knights?
I'm actually saddened because what happens here is that the Buzz and Vinny will beat everyone now that there's no Meta Knight to stop them, and I'll meet up with them in winners. And what happens now is I usually either lose to one of them in winners and the other one in losers, and they're like the two people that I would least like to play in the world because their characters just completely destroy me. I'm noticing that I was very comfortable. It took me maybe like 2.5, 3 years, but I was very comfortable versus Meta Knight. It wasn't that bad. Like, DK could handle Meta Knight. Like, compared to Olimar, I feel like Olimar is a much worse matchup for DK in terms of just fundamentally landing from a juggle is almost impossible because of that pivot grab. And just getting grabbed by ice climbers is so devastating because DK is so easy to be grabbed. So I'm actually going to miss fighting Meta Knight a little bit, but at the same time, Meta Knight was just so good of a character that if you were to be even slightly outplayed, like, you have to completely outplay Meta Knight as DK to win. But I don't know. I guess I'll just have to put a lot more of that effort into other matchups now, because that was really the one matchup that everybody dedicated to anyway. And I have a lot more incentive to pick up a secondary now that Meta Knight can't, really shut down any of your immediate secondaries. So.
All right, and one final question here. I want to actually ask this to Chibo, being the reigning tournament organizer here, at least in terms of experience and all of that. I know Teevee does. Teevee, you do some stuff too as well.
Yeah, a little bit in New England.
All right, so you can feel free to jump in here. But Chibo, with this Meta Knight-ban, how do you think the community itself maybe looks to people outside the community or to new tournament organizers? If you understand that question, how do you think you can best answer that?
I understand it, and the simple answer is concentrate. I mean, seriously, like, as each public poll has gone on with concerning Meta Knight, it's always been in the favor of pro ban, but it's always been like 50, 55%, 57 maybe, but then as soon as the latest one hit, it's reached almost 75%, so the public clearly wants it. So it's really at the point where hosting tournaments with Meta Knight ban is a lot easier now because they're very accepting, and coming from what used to be such a Meta Knight infested region, such as New York, New Jersey, where the Concentrate series had started recently. We just had Concentrate 2 last month and Concentrate 1 the month before that. But what was really unique, besides the fact that Concentrate attracted so many players and were such great tournaments, as people really loved the absence of Meta Knight there, was that with Jtails streaming, as some of the first tournaments that he had streamed in Smash, Jax was a huge streamer for regular fighting games. He owns 8wayrun.com, which is Soul Calibur based. He runs plenty of other tournaments featuring Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. So when these streams were being ran for Concentrate, they were actually on the front page of Shoryuken.com, and this attracted tons and tons of fighting game players into the stream. A lot of them might have been like, oh, why are you streaming Smash? It sucks. But then some of them were like, wait a second, this is actually kind of good because there isn't just a mindless counterpicking that just completely breaks the system. And then you can kind of further attribute to that when the news broke about Meta Knight being banned on SRK, the comments are probably some of the most positive comments we've ever seen from a Smash story on SRK, and it really shows great acceptance from other communities, which, as you also see with Apex going on, or it's not just Smash, it's also fighting games, it's also Pokemon, it's really a lot of unity together, and throwing out that word there for that rule set, that it's really bringing together everybody, and they're all very accepting of it, and I think it's a really positive reaction, which is great for this community and game.
All right, cool. I guess that's a very good positive note to go out on. So I want to thank Teevee and Chibo, as well as everybody else that was on the show tonight, for giving their opinions. And I guess we'll be wrapping it up in a bit, so stay tuned. All right, everybody, this brings us to the end of Directional Influence episode 49. As epic as that didn't sound, for no reason. But I'm very excited to have everybody on here on the show, so I want to thank everybody that was on the show, Teevee, Chibo, Nicole, MJG, Ripple for the short, brief time he was able to function.
Shout outs to Ripple's internet connection. That's pretty epic. We definitely need to keep some of that stuff.
Oh, yes, we definitely will. We definitely will. And then, of course, Nakat and Jtails, everybody giving us some awesome discussion. Thanks to VV Gaming for hosting us. You guys can also hit us up on Twitter, AlwaysBrawl, Twitter, Smashboards, VV Gaming, etc. Of course, thanks to Will for being here with me, and myself for being awesome. Believe we have NJ Halo coming up this Saturday. I'll be there. Chibo apparently won't be, as you said. At least
I'm still pondering.
I'm pondering.
I don't know.
Years.
Why should I go?
Because I'm there.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen you in a while. That's true.
Right. Yeah. So what the fuck? I'll be going to Cheese's house Friday night, practicing with him, and then I think sleeping over again Saturday, and then taking some public transportation back to my college. So it'll be fun. So that's where I'll be this Saturday. Hopefully, getting my Smash on, as my gears on. However that works out. And next week we should have something good planned, hopefully. So we're excited. But yeah. Other than that, I think this is the end of Directional Influence episode 49. So I want to thank everybody listening, that has been listening, that's going to listen, and continue to listen. It is awesome. We love your support. We'll be back next week with another episode of Directional Influence. See you.